Good morning, Hit Nation, folks, folkettes, and everything in between and beyond. My name is Roy, host of Mahapanies, the only host in the history of the internet who has no idea what he's talking about, but he tries. And I just wanted to record this post game against the 76 Heat against the 76ers that we did yesterday. So it's the morning after. I didn't really have a chance to record post game. It's not realistic for me, really, for many reasons. But one of them being I have a 4-year-old son who I have to tend to sometimes at that time, and it just becomes really difficult for me to go outside and be in an environment that I can't really control. I already have a gorilla situation that I'm just using my phone to record. I only have my work laptop, so I can't use that to record. I use it to read the stats and to read important information. So yeah, it's not so easy to record, but you know what? This is what we do. This is what we're doing, and this is what we're going to continue doing until we actually find our voice. That's basically it. So Heat versus 76ers. We came back home on a back-to-back second game, but the truth is that it's a back-to-back game, and then we don't have any games until next Sunday. So it's 5 days off, 6 days off if you include the actual day of the game. It's 5 days off, and then we play again against the Mavericks, which is just a weird schedule, but at the same time I don't mind. There is enough time at least for JJJ to recuperate, to get better, and to come back to the team. I know what to say about Rozier. I think Rozier not playing could and should give Spo an idea of what this team should look like, and I guess Jay Rich is slightly improving here and there, so that happens. In any case, we shot 94 times the ball, and we got 39 in. They shot 92 and got 43 in terms of field goals. They were 46.7%, and we were 41.5%. They're three-pointers. We got one fewer than them. We got 13, they got 14. They tried 40 times, we tried 43, translated to 35% three-point shooting for the 76ers, 30% only three-point shooting for the Miami Heat. If you watch that, the live stats in the beginning of the game at 9%, 0%, 9%, 20%, 22%, 23%, 22%, 23%, 25%, and then he kind of stabilized at 30%. From free throws, we had 14, and we had 16 and we made 14. They had 11 and made 9. 81.8% for them and 87.5% for us. We had 10 more rebounds, 51 versus 41. We have 16 offensive rebounds, 8 more than the 76ers at 8. We had 35 defensive rebounds, 2 more than the 76ers at 33. We had 24 assists. They had 28. We had 8 steals, which is interesting. We only had 8 steals technically, right? They had 11. They had 7 blocks. We only had 4. That's our average. And the turnovers, we went 7 beyond our regular, I guess, right? It's 9 turnovers a game. We went about 17. They only had 11. But the most important thing is that they only capitalized with 20 points off of turnovers, whereas we capitalized on 23. They had 17 fast break points to our 24, and they had 38 points in paint, while we had 44. The start of the game was really hard to watch. The Heat was not efficient from any part of the floor. Nothing seemed to be working except for one person, Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler on a mission to say I care, to say that I want to play those at least 60 games and so forth. So that was a great sight, right? It's great to have Jimmy Butler back, but also to have Jimmy Butler back and contributing, which he wasn't allowed to do the same way with Rozier. It just goes to show that no Rozier benefits Butler. Whereas we were under 40% and under 10% from beyond the arc for most of the first half. Everything stabilized toward the end of the second quarter. We ended the half only 3 points down after going for one possession down 19, but it was stable at about 16 as the largest lead. Our free throws, right? Our free throws were also pretty low until Butler got going, and then we finished over 85%, as you saw. And Herro did what he has been doing for the past 12 games. It took over, right? He only finished the night with 18 points, so it's under 20. My apologies. To anyone who followed my suggestions on PrizePicks. I was pretty close. I said that I think he at least scores 22, 23 points. He scored 18, but 16 of those points in the third quarter. So much like the second game against the Pacers, I scored 18 of his points in the fourth quarter. This guy is just a beast. I remember watching him for the first, second time saying, "Herro, you're a beast," when we're live in the court. And I remember those words fondly. It's notable, again, that we had no issues without Rozier. I don't speak enough about Duncan Robinson. That's my bad. Because I honestly kind of take Duncan Robinson for granted. Duncan, baby, you're not going to be taken for granted anymore. I remember you. I think of you. When you come to the floor, I'm happy. To be honest with you, the first time that I saw you play, Duncan, my wife was pregnant with my baby. And my baby was kicking, and I said, I want my baby to be like him. And I pointed to you, Duncan Robinson. He's doing such an amazing job. He's such a solid part of our rotation. He's such a solid part of our core, regardless of being a role player. He's improved so much. The way that he cuts, the way that he drives, his backdoor passes, his two-man game with Bam. It's a sight to see. So not having Rozier and having Duncan starting with what Duncan does, I'm sorry, but there's no comparison. There's no comparison to me. I don't even think that Rozier is in the same conversation as Duncan Robinson right now. Not saying that Rozier was not and cannot potentially be a great player, even a starter in a franchise, and not necessarily a role player. But right now, that's what we should focus on making him be. That's my opinion, at least. As crazy as it might sound. And of course, now we don't get to see Weir so much because Love is coming off the bench for Bam. Bryant is just buried as well. So that's another thing that we paid attention to. The rotations were very interesting because for the first time since I've been screaming for Spo to do it, just because of not having Rozier, which is exactly the whole point. He used Burks. He used Drew Smith. He used Pelle Larsson. And what happened? All of them contributed. Drew Smith contributed offensively greatly. They can finish the night with 8 points. Burks contributed immensely offensively again to the team and defensively, by the way, both of those players. And Pelle Larsson is very efficient and he's NBA ready. And hopefully Jaime Jaquez can recover. I don't think, from what I saw, it doesn't seem so bad. But at the same time, it could be something that is going to sideline him for a couple of weeks. So all in all, I really thought that we were going to be humiliated at some point. And then when I saw the end of the third quarter, it was pretty much a boring kind of fourth quarter. I know we're going to win. It's all good. I wasn't worried for a second after that third quarter. Bam was the low light of the night. He scored only 5 points. He did well with rebounds and assists, but he scored only 5 points. So, it's not... Look, the reason that the Celtics and the Cavaliers win is not because Donovan Mitchell or Jason Tatum or even Jaylen Brown go off. It's because everybody on that team scores. It's because everybody on that team contributes. Bam has been more consistent. Bam has given us 5 games, right? If I'm not mistaken, beyond 20 points. And it doesn't have to score 20. He could score 15 as long as it's being efficient defensively. The way that he was yesterday, it was still efficient defensively at stretches. But offensively, it just seems like we are making it. It's not like that. Bam's shot diet was just, again, not working. The mid-ranges were not working. He wasn't able to get to the rim as much. I know that maybe the blooper of the night is Duncan Robinson trying the dunk and coming up short, but Bam just not being able to go against him again, right? To go against Embiid, to go against Paul George, to go against anybody that was guarding him and score more than a miserable 5 points. But again, Bam is always someone who I know will be better. And Paul George at some point was the only threat from the 76ers with McCain. Everyone was helping. Embiid was getting his shots at that time at the beginning. But then McCain actually got better than Paul George and Embiid. And that's what you never want. That's what, in our team, we cannot have our top scorer being Rozier with nobody else contributing or because Rozier is hogging the ball. I think it's the same. It's valid to say that their rookie cannot be the main. When you have Embiid and Paul George on the floor, your rookie cannot be the one that scores the most. That's a recipe for a loss. And finally, we didn't win against a team with a winning record, right? The 76ers are banged up. They're now 10. They're now 3-10, if not mistaken, after 13 games. Whereas we are at 6-7, so almost at 500. But if we know their history and if we know the trajectory stat-wise, as it pertains to the past 5 seasons, and understanding that they do have a roster, but the roster is just banked up, I think they're going to do better, and I think they're going to be a tougher team to face toward the end of this year, beginning of the next. I don't know when we face them the next time. However, a win is a win, and we can say now that we beat, we beat the Pacers once, we beat the Timberwolves once, we beat the 76ers. So we beat 3 potential contenders among those throughout those 12 games. Even though the 76ers now are not looking like contenders right now. In any case, guys, stay safe, stay dry, stay as happy as possible in this very complicated world of ours. See you on Sunday. I will record some more videos in between, maybe some picks, maybe not. We'll see. In any which case, let's go.